That's good.
We're back.
Boom.
With Amir
Alpert.
Not only a fellow student of Torch, but as you saw in that amazing promo video that Rabbi Busco made, the star of many of his videos.
Yes.
Let's do it one more time.
Falling star.
So, so we talked on the phone a few times, traded some emails. I literally had no idea that you were the one that did the hilarious video on how to wash your hands.
Yes.
Which was awesome. But I wanted to just sort of, if you would, tell your story about how you came into contact with Torch and
Sure.
and how that story played out and you got to know the guys over here.
Sure. So it all started at the Hamish Shul over in the neighborhood, and I was a recent, I don't know what you could call it, somebody that was recently coming back into Judaism, had explored it by himself, but was, like a sheep wandering around the forest, and I had no idea what was going on. And Rabbi Busco, he approached me in the shul and told me that there was a study group that he was putting on, and that he invited me to come out to and give it a shot. And that first study group was here at Torch, right over there in the little circle.
Yeah.
And I felt a sense of this is the place where ideas are encouraged, where a sense of communication and open dialogue is necessary for the study of Judaism and our own personal growth and manifestation of Hashem and all of us.
Yeah.
And that's what Torch was for me. It was the first time that there was an area where it was said, okay, come here and let's just discuss and let's just talk and let's just learn, and let's learn as a group, learn as a partners.
What were you studying? What was the subject?
Oh, that first night. That's a good question. I think we were studying Lashon Hara. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that. Ever since that night, I have to say, he's the voice now inside my head that was like, is this gossip? I'm not sure if this is gossip or not, or should I not consider it to be gossip? But we were just studying Lashon Hara, and just like that, immediate impact into your life, and that's what it was.
That's great. So you guys would have sort of a different topic every night when you meet here that we would bring up.
Yeah. We did study groups on all types of topics. We even had one where it was when the Black Lives Matter riots were going on. We were having like a study group to discuss the Jewish perspective on police inequality or police injustice. Yeah, kind of
interesting. Everything is addressed in Torah.
That's right.
So that's wonderful. So how long ago was that when you first started learning with Rabbi Busco and your peers?
Yeah, that was nearly 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, a long time.
And how have you sort of seen your life change as a result of being engaged in regular Torah learning?
Yeah, that's a great question. I use the metaphor of like a sheep wandering by themselves. You can always walk around and you can maybe stumble upon something.
Right.
But if you have no shepherd to say, hey, this is the tried and true way, this is the direction that others have taken that has proved fruitful, you end up falling down a lot. You end up in the corner by yourself and you get discouraged. And it's very easy for any Jew or any person of that matter to give up on their journey. But having multiple shepherds in a place like Torch, where you get exposed to different aspects and perspectives, allows each member to, essentially find their own path within the wider path. Right. And that's what I think Torch did for me.
That's wonderful. That's where the story I was sharing in the very beginning of today, talking about my experience, 6-7 years ago, was there's that path that they lead us on, but it's customized for us, but they know how to counterbalance the pushing us a little more, but not allowing us to take on too much. And sort of knowing like, this is what you should be studying now, maybe look at this. And exactly. They are like shepherds in that way, for sure. It's a great analogy.
Yeah. They don't steer the boat, but they poke it in the right direction when it's going towards the shore,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I've seen you in the community of Shabbos. So you've spent some Shabbos meals, I assume, at the Rabbi Busco home?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. What's that experience like?
Oh, that's the best. I remember one Shabbos when I came over, I remember just entering in his house. There was a different feel to the entire house as a whole.
Yeah.
I told him, had a great Shabbos energy, and it's a great experience. I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking, what has Rabbi Bosco done that is inspirational? He knows a lot of Gemara and a lot of Torah, and he can teach you the nuts and bolts. But something that occurred to me that is unique to him is the spiritual passion that he infuses into his learning.
Yeah.
Right. You see it whether he sings, you see it whether he prays. He's never taking it lightly on himself, and therefore it's really an inspiration as well as that's the type of connection that I also want to have with Hashem. That's the direction to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, was that one of your first Shabbos experiences at his place? Because I know when Rabbi Yochel Folby invited my family to his house 7 years ago, that was our first time to
really?
be in a community experience at Shabbos. And that had a profound impact on us. So was that similar for you, where that was sort of your first?
Yeah, not the first necessarily, but within the first handful or so.
Yeah.
And definitely one of the ones where it was I was exposed to seeing how you can raise Jewish children as well.
Yeah.
Because they have two very young children, and to see them give the prayer to the children, to see how they ask them about the parsha over the meal, to see that it's just all integrated, to see that after the dinner it was bedtime stories, and it was very family integrated.
Yeah.
It was a perfect example for what Shabbos can be. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a beautiful thing. It's something that so many of us are resistant to.
Yeah.
It's like if you want logical proof for the existence of a Yetzer Hara, how else do you explain how, myself included for so long, are resistant to not having a cell phone for 25 hours?
Yeah.
Like that's a blessing to not have a cell phone for 24 hours, So, and that's part of it. It's just not just learning the Torah, but just allowing us to, experience what it's like to be a Jew. I think you were out here during Purim too.
I was, yes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Another great example where
I thought I remember seeing you. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you make a great point. The Yetzer Hara is strong for a reason. And what Torch enables is we're not able to overcome our Yetzer Hara by ourselves. The sheep in the meadow by himself,
right.
He's never going to overcome it. But when you're given okay, you don't have to do it yourself. Just come over for mine.
Right.
You don't have to do it for yourself. Just come study with me.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick out the parsha yourself. Just come over here and study. And we'll introduce it to you. And
right.
In a way, Torch introduces you to Judaism the way Hashem loves all of us.
Yeah.
It's a gentle approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we used to come down here, we used to drive down here for Shabbos all the time. We just recently moved here last
really?
August. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we've been through this path, and they were always the same thing. Just always go slow. Yes. You want to go in stealth mode.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to go running towards this goal, Yetzer Hara is going to clobber you.
It's going to get you.
Yeah.
It's going to get you.
So you just go, just take those stealth moves slow by slow by slow. And they more for me were telling me, slow down.
I was curious what your experience was as well, because you're so integrated into the Torch system. What was it like learning and developing through it as well?
Yeah, it was very similar experience to your own. I was a agnostic my entire life at the age of 40.
Yeah.
They were the first rabbis I ever met, and quote-unquote Orthodox rabbis to teach me. And my wife, my family, we've been on this journey, and then observance slowly and methodically until we just moved out here into that community last August. So
very cool.
Yeah, so this is it's been a very gradual process, but that's key.
Yes.
I think that's one of the things a lot of Jews do is they stress out about it, and they think they're for one, they think that the rabbis will judge them, right? Which is the one of the things I always like to showcase rabbis on my podcast. You're it's not the case at all. And two, what they say is the way God looks at us is He looks at the present value of all our future actions throughout our life. It's sort of what the trajectory you're on is how you're being measured.
Yeah, exactly.
Because God knows that. And I've done a lot of, podcast episodes like Rabbi Woolgenlinter, which I'm bringing on later, talking about this, that I kept saying how I always think like I'm figuring out how to do everything. And then I learn more Torah, learning how I'm doing so much more wrong. And it's sort of like God saying, I'm only going to give you so much information at once.
Exactly.
Because you can't do it all at once.
Oh, yeah. It would be too much. The Torah is infinite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So anything else you want to share with the viewers on why they should go to givetorch.com and support this organization?
Oh, yeah. Good question. No answer that I give will be as good as just checking out the material that Torch produces.
Yeah.
Whether it's the podcast, whether it's the Average Rabbi videos, whether it's a class that you've attended yourself, you can immediately see right away. But since we don't have time for that and the donation time is running on, I would say that you have to trust the word of the people that are coming on here and saying, like, look, we all need some type of light that can pull us through this darkness. We're all looking for something that is able to guide us, to give us the strength when times are at their weakest. And we don't all have the ability to be in an organization where you can really feel like you're working towards that, but you can donate and you can support and you can come check out those organizations. And no pun intended, but Torch is the light that at the end of the tunnel for many of the people that are involved, and gives us a lot of strength and hope, and will give more Jews strength and hope if this donation goes well.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on, because you're another example. That's why I wanted to bring students on. I think we're the ones that want to speak on behalf of Torch, because we're the ones that's had such a positive impact on, and we know, coming from where we come from, a very secular environment, which sounds like you did, just like I did, that there's so many Jews out there that we want to make sure these rabbis are here, and the outreach and the media and all these things, so that every Jew has the opportunity to connect to their Torah.
Definitely. Couldn't have said it better.
Well, thank you for coming on. I'm looking forward to seeing you starring in more Average Rabbi videos, I hope.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem, hopefully.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on.